It's a time for more packages from China. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video we are going to take a close look at the Powkiddy, the RGB10S model. Yeah, they're back with a new edition. I must say that Embernick wasn't a company that releases a lot of handhelds, but basically Powkiddy, in my opinion, tops it off with these devices. But hey guys, it's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video I want to take a close look at this new model. And I must say, like, Powkiddy is basically like going all crazy when it comes to releasing new devices. This thing came, in my opinion, out of nothing. And if there was a jungle not big enough, they're like keep releasing new devices. And I just want to give you my, let's say, quick opinion about this device and how it feels and how it plays. So it's more slim, that is a fact. But the question remains, is it more comfortable for you to play? And maybe you already ordered, let's say, a handheld from Powkiddy. And you're more like, okay, I just got my Max 2 and I'm super excited about it. But should I like get a slimmer model? Take consideration, when it comes to Powkiddy, they also like do relabeling and they're releasing too many handhelds in my opinion. But when it comes to this device, it is nothing like a big of an upgrade. It's more like something of a shell they replaced and the way how this thing basically looks and feels. So to begin with, we're going to get the shoulder buttons at top. We're going to get two versions. We're going to get more like the trigger look-alike, and then we're going to get the one with the micro switches beneath. We're going to get the ABXY, like the tiny buttons. I must say, like, not the biggest fan, but they're big enough for my fingers. They look and feel a little bit wiggly. They have like the old school long travel membrane buttons. Then we're going to get the D-pad. The D-pad is what's small, like your typical handheld. They only put it in the corner. I'm not a big fan of it. I only want to have it like a left top because I was planning to play like that. The analog stick is even like the one like with the Nintendo Switch. I want to say it's exactly the same one, but it comes close, even with the click. And this thing is absolutely amazing. I'm happy they're using these. Then we're going to get two clickies buttons over here and the select to start, all micro switches. And at the back we're not going to get a lot, and the same goes to the left, the right and the bottom. At the top we're going to get ourselves the Wi-Fi on and off switch. We're going to get two Type-C connections, one is for like charging. We're going to get like a headphone jack out. The TF card or the CF card is in here. Depending what kind of model, this version came with the unique card. Nowadays they are using the game system card, not even a brand like SanDisk. And then we're going to get the reset button and the on and off switch. They also give you like a Type-C cable, but there is no power adapter for charging. So take consideration, if you need a power adapter, you need to buy it separately. Recommend getting like a very good one and good quality one, because otherwise loading will take forever. And of course you can use your telephone one, but most of the time maybe the amp are not enough. So that's something you need to take consideration when you're ordering another one. It's like a toilet paper manual this time. You're not going to get a lot of information, some quick instruction how everything works. Because if you're looking at the handheld itself, there is no volume control. I find it a little bit of a bummer, like having key combinations. It's not a big of a deal, but the thing like more physical scrolling wheel, I more prefer like that part of a handheld because I use it a lot. And the reason why with an RGB10S, like sometimes we're having like multiple emulators, we do have some differences in sound levels, and that I find it very convenient just to quickly like scroll it up and down to adjust the volume. Okay, so this handheld came with emulate pre-installed. Take consideration, like if you want to have yourself a different operating system, I would not be surprised they will release new ones for this and give it even like a boost. But just want to show it out of the box as is, what you're going to get, so you know what to expect. So configuration is not needed so far I know, like if you slap a game in it, and yeah, take consideration, you need to have some knowledge of emulate in the future of course. But I must say, like, normally when you drop in a file, it will work just fine. But okay, while you're looking at the things we can play, here you can see like we have a lot of different systems nowadays. And depending of course what kind of device you're buying, but most of these Powkiddy that runs on emulate, we do have like a lot of support. But when you're looking at, let's say, the limitation, we will have like PlayStation Portable that is basically like pushing this device to the limit. But then, beside that point, there's a lot of stuff you can play with it that we're also going to test out. Next thing what you can do is like holding the start button, pressing the start button, you can go into the menu over here, Alex settings, game settings, stuff like that. We can change the UI if you want to, and pressing select, we can have the option to reboot the system. I will also recommend, like, if you want to shut it down, then you're going to shut it down like this, just for safekeeping. You don't want to ruin your SD card. But again, it's possible it doesn't even work anymore that way, we just can turn it off, but I'm always doing it. That happened when you're using a Pi for a very long time. So this new RGB10S model comes with a 3.5-inch display that has a resolution of 480 by 320. It's the Rockchip 3326 quad-core 8.5 GHz. We've seen it before in different models. 1 GB of RAM, in total 300 mAh battery life, and it does have the option for Wi-Fi capabilities with a separate button. And when pressing select and start at the same time, what you're going to get is the quick menu. Here we can do a quick load, quick save. You can mess around with the controls if needed. And of course, if you want to close the content or go back to the main menu, you can do it over here. And also with this device, they basically have only one speaker, but they're using a quality speaker. Personally, I'm a big fan of using even at the bottom part, you're going to get two speakers to give a better, let's say, quality stereo sound effect. But the one that is in here is not that bad at all. Both D-pad and the analog stick can be used. Another system you don't see very often is PC Engine. Such a blast to play these games on the go. And of course, it's not very demanding and they will run just fine on a Powkiddy device like this. But it doesn't improve my gameplay style in general. Oh, I'm missing my turbo buttons now, absolutely. Oh. Alright, next up, let's play some Dreamcast. Here you can see with this configuration that is added to this MEL, it will not run perfectly. So it needs to have or frame skip, or we need to do some more tinkering with some better firmware. It's such a bummer, you know, they are giving you the option with a kind of firmware, but the firmware they're giving us is not perfect. Absolutely not. But it's still playable. Alright, so next up let's play Sega Naomi. Such a great way to try to see how the D-pad responds on this device. The analog stick plays amazing, but I mean if you want to play some certain games you need to have a good D-pad. And sometimes if the D-pad has a very nice touch, after I'm going to play with some fighting games I've noticed it plays like crap. You can hear some stutters here and there. Oof. Yeah, they did. In my opinion, they nailed it. They nailed it with the D-pad. That was more like a personal handicap, but... But you can hear it struggles. It struggles to get the full FPS. Even I'm not seeing the FPS, I can just hear it. But it's still playable. But here you can see already they didn't configure everything correctly because my analog stick is not even working. But okay guys, so next up PlayStation 1. It's a system that I know almost runs perfectly. Even if it's not configured correctly, this is a system that the Powkiddy have no problem whatsoever with. You can see mostly when they transform you can see hiccups when the CPU or the device itself is not configured correctly or not powerful enough. But there is no problem whatsoever with this game Bloody Roar 2. So if you're a big fan of PlayStation, I think you will have an absolutely amazing handheld with this. Alright, so let's take a close look at some PlayStation Portable. And I just wanted to try out this basic game, because I know if this game has some issues, running a too old emulator, you will see some weird stuff going on. So far so good. Let's crank up the volume. So the weird stuff that we've seen before with some older emulators they were using in combination with some very bad specifications, they don't have the same issues anymore. So when it comes to two-dimensional stuff, that will run just fine on PlayStation Portable. And a combination with the Powkiddy. But I wanted to just give you a quick demo of a three-dimensional game. It's quite impressive how far these Chinese handheld have come. But you can see when you go into the three-dimensional stuff, God of War for example, this will not run perfectly. You will hear a lot of slowdowns. But what it can do is quite impressive. But of course this is not like it should be. You can see you can mess around with it. You can go into the settings. So pressing the left trigger button, kind of weird way if you ask me. This is running on back at OpenGL. They didn't implement, I think, the auto frame skip so far I can see, so it's basically running. So you can basically mess around with it and get some little bit better, let's say, improvements when it comes to this device and PlayStation Portable. But again, like this is just pushing this thing to the limit what I already mentioned in the beginning. Okay guys, so let's do a quick teardown. I just wanted to see what is the inside. So when you're looking at these devices, like with Powkiddy, it doesn't even matter if you're already owning, I think, a Max 2 or something like that, and you don't mind like the form factor. I think, in my opinion, there's nothing, let's say, really important to like upgrade to another device. And I think I didn't shut it down. I did. I almost know for sure that I should shut it down, the freaking thing. Alright, so shutdown system. Yes, I already told you before. When you're looking at this, like the invasion of handhelds, I think that's a little bit of the downside to this all. It's like we do have like too much of these. I'm more like make something good, maybe make like a slim or a big version, and be done with it. You know, like you can see, like I've removed the 4 screws. This one is still in the casing itself, but that's not a problem. But you can see like they're using the clicking mechanism in combination with the screws to getting it in place. So let's get myself a pry tool. Let's see if I can open it up. That can be a couple of them. Different sizes, and see if I can find a tiny gap where I can start prying and just trying to open it up. So funny thing is I found a gap over here, so where we can basically try to pry it open. Always be very gentle. Most time when you're having a part of it opened, you can just basically like open it up like this. Okay, so let's take a close look in the inside. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to take a close look at the battery itself, and indeed they're using a 3000 milliamp. And what I also like about this thing is, and I mean it like seriously, like what I like about it is that we can basically replace it fairly easy. So if you have like a broken battery, you can just swap it out. I think you need to find the number over here, maybe on AliExpress or your local shop you can find the replacement. So let's take a close look at the main board over here. Here we're going to get the all famous rock chip. This is the rock chip 3326. So that's basically the one. The RAM chips are over here. So when you're looking at the specifications and the previous models, there is nothing much they changed out, in my opinion. The speaker can be changed, but that's it. Like the form factor is very tiny, so that is pretty cool. But do you know what is quite interesting? And that is basically like what it says over here. Okay, so when you're looking at this here, it says like the Q90 Pro version 1 from 2019. So they just released this model, but somehow they are like basically reusing the PCB and just giving it a different name, or this may be the original manufacturer, but it's like a lot of years old when I'm making this video. I just want to implement a quick, let's say, showdown of the 3 models of Powkiddy. So basically what I understand of, they are using the same specifications, but what is the most important thing is like the form factor. Like slimming it down, oh absolutely. When you're looking at this model, you can see like they slimmed it absolutely down. And also when it comes to the first model they've released, this thing is very tiny. It's quite interesting to see. But if you're searching for a handheld that is slimmed down and still has a lot to offer, I think this device is an absolutely good choice. But the downside, I think, is like I personally have like a bigger handheld. It's more comfortable to play. And the same goes for the shoulder buttons. Basically, like the way they configured this, it's for me easier to reach. And also the D-pad is in a way better position, but it is more like a personal preference. Another thing is like when you're looking at the D-pad of this first model, you feel that this is more short traveled than the new model. This thing feels way better, but also like it's more sturdy, but again, like a personal thing. Then we're having like the latest model, and the latest model, they even improved the shell itself to give it more comfort, and that was what I really pleased about. But then again, like they changed out the button configuration at the top. I must say, like I don't really hate it that they're using the shoulder button. So when it comes to the form factor, it's not a big of a deal. But they basically they just went with the same button configuration. It's quite nice, but when you're having like a tinier handheld, I think it's, let's say, less like comfortable to press the shoulder button. So that are like the things you need to take consideration when you're looking at the older and the newer models. But okay guys, so this is the Powkiddy RGB10 the Slim Edition, and absolutely they made it slim like when you're looking at the previous models. Is it a big improvement? I don't know, to be honest. I really love the new Max 2 because it's more, let's say, it's quite big compared with this one. But in overall, like I find it more comfortable to play. Also with a form factor, I find it just amazing how they can crank everything in like in a little case like this. Amazing D-pad, nice analog stick. Do like the buttons, they're like travel, but I don't find it like a negative thing. And overall, yeah, let me know in the comments, what do you think of this new model? Like if you're new to the market and you're thinking, hey, I want to pick something up and this form factor looks very appealing to me, I can understand if you pick something like this up. But if you're already owning a couple of handhelds, yeah, then it's more like not really an upgrade. It's a different shell and that's it. Thanks for watching, consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become the Weekend family, and I will see you in the next video.